It's Friday night, you just got paid. You open your bank account and see that beautiful number, $2,850. You feel good, you have control. This time it's going to be different. On Monday, you check your account again, $2,100. On Wednesday, $1,600. The following Friday, you are in the supermarket mentally calculating if you can buy the good cheese, or you have to settle for the cheap one, because honestly, you have no idea how much money you actually have left available. And the worst part is that you didn't buy anything crazy. You didn't go on vacation. You didn't buy a new television. The money just evaporated. If this sounds familiar to you, this video is for you. My name is Mark and I spend way too much time thinking about how to make a family budget that actually works. If you are someone who has tried to make budgets over and over again but abandon them because they don't fit reality, they do not contemplate variable or unforeseen expenses, they generate arguments and frustration with your partner, and you end up spending uncontrollably, even if you have good intentions, stay with me because we are going to change that today. And make sure to subscribe and like this video if it helps you. Part 1. Why budgets fail. 80% of people who try to make a budget abandon it in less than 3 months. That comes from a 2023 Ohio State University study. 80%. It means that most don't even get to the point where the budget could start working. And we all think it's our fault. I have no discipline. I'm not good with money. My family spends too much. But here's what most don't realize. It's not your fault. The problem is that you have been taught to budget in a way that is designed to fail. The traditional way is basically this. You sit down, make a list of your expenses, subtract that from your income, and boom. Sounds logical, right? Except there's a massive problem with this. Life doesn't work in perfect categories. Life doesn't tell you today is the day to spend exactly $400 at the supermarket and not $1 more. Life tells you, surprise, your child needs a new uniform for tomorrow, or the car makes a funny noise. And that's where the whole system collapses. Because you made a perfect budget for a perfect world that doesn't exist. Now you might be thinking, but Mark, that's why I have an emergency fund. How many times a month do you use your emergency fund for things that aren't really emergencies but just life? If you're honest, probably more than you'd like to admit. Part 2. The psychology that no one tells you. There is a concept called the planning fallacy. We humans are terrible at estimating how much money something is going to cost us. One study found that people underestimate their monthly expenses by an average of 23%. 23%. It means that if you think you spend $3,000 a month, you're probably spending $3,690. When you make a super strict budget, your brain starts to see it as a diet. You restrict yourself, and then one day you explode and eat half a cake. The same thing happens with money. It's what they call the license violation effect. Once you break your budget, your brain says, well, I already blew it, so whatever, and you spend even more. Discipline is not the problem. The system is the problem. You need a budget that assumes you're going to make mistakes. Assume that life is going to happen. Assume that some weeks you are going to spend more than others. Because that's reality. Part 3. The method that really works. Let me show you how to make a budget that really works. Let's say your family brings in $4,500 a month after taxes. Step 1. Identify your non-negotiable fixed expenses. Rent, $1,200. Insurance, $150. Internet, $60. Debts, $200. Subscriptions, $40. Total, $1,650. This number does not change. You don't have to think about him. It pays automatically, and that's it. Step 2. Give yourself a cushion of realistic variable expenses. This is where most people go wrong. They look at their variable expenses as if they were fixed. I'm going to spend exactly $500 on food. No, you're not going to do it. Food, $500, $700 gasoline, $150, $250. Entertainment, $200, $300. Miscellaneous, $150, $250. You take the highest number for your initial planning. Total variables maximum, $1,500. And here's the psychological trick. If you spend less, you feel good. If you spend the maximum, you're still in. Step 3. The things that always happen but we never plan. Background. This part changes everything. Each month, $300 goes into a separate account for what I call predictable irregular expenses. Gifts, 5-8 times a year. Car maintenance, 2-3 times. Medical copays. Clothes. Useful. Repairs. If you add all this up, it's easily $3,000, $4,000 a year. That's $250, $330 a month. But no one plans for this, so you put $300 into this account each month. And when December rolls around and you need $500 for gifts, it's not an emergency. Step 4. Non-negotiable savings. $500 a month goes straight into savings. This moves automatically the day you get paid. Now you might be thinking, Mark, $500 a month is a lot, and look, I get that. If you can't make $500, start with $200 or even $100. The important thing is the habit and the system. But here's the truth. If you can't save anything, you don't have a budget problem. You have an income problem. And that's a different conversation. Step 5. What remains is yours. Let's do the math. Income, $4,500. Fixed expenses, minus $1,650. Variables, maximum, minus $1,500. Irregular bottom, minus $300. Savings, minus $500. Free money, $550. This $550 is for whatever. Go out to dinner, buy something you want. There are no rules. It's your I don't care money. And here's the massive psychological change. When you know you have $550 you can spend guilt-free, budgeting stops feeling like a prison. It feels like freedom. Part 4. Mental traps you should avoid. Now let me tell you about the 3 most common ways families sabotage their own budget. Trap 1. Perfectionism. People create detailed budgets with 47 different categories. $23.5 for coffee, $17.33 for cleaning supplies. See, that doesn't work. Do you know why? Because it requires you to be perfect. And nobody is perfect, and the moment you spend $25 on coffee instead of $23.5, your brain says, I failed, and everything collapses. Keep the categories simple, between 5 and 8 categories maximum. Trap 2. Not communicating with your partner. This is huge. Money is the second leading cause of divorce in the United States. If you are budgeting alone, without involving your partner, you have already failed. Because your partner is going to spend money without knowing the plan, you are going to get frustrated, there are going to be arguments, and eventually one of us is going to say, forget this stupid budget. They have to sit together. You have to agree on priorities together. They have to review the budget every month. And here's the catch, each person needs their own don't ask money. It could be $100 each, it could be $50, but that money requires no explanation. Eliminate 80% of fights. Trap 3. Not checking and adjusting. Your budget in January is not going to be your budget in July. Your expenses change, your life changes. Every month, take 20 minutes to review. What worked? What didn't work? Where did I spend more than expected? Where did I spend the least? And then adjust. The budget is a living document, not a contract set in stone. Part 5. The real example. Let me show you what this looks like with a family I know. Maria and Carlos brought in $5,200 a month combined. They tried traditional budgets and always failed. Constant fights, constant stress. They never really knew how much money they had. They implemented the system that I just showed you. Month 1, they identified $2,100 in fixed expenses. They established ranges for variables, $1,200, $1,600. They put $400 in the irregular fund. They put $600 into automatic savings. They had $500 left as free money. The first week was strange. They felt like they had too much free money and spent guiltily. But Maria told me something interesting. For the first time in years, I bought a $5 coffee without panicking. Month 3, Carlos's car needed new brakes, $420. Before, this would have been a crisis. They would have fought over where to get the money. But they had $1,200 in the irregular fund. They paid for the brakes. Life goes on. Month 6, December has arrived. They needed $600 for gifts. They were already there. Zero stress. Month 12, they had saved $7,200. They had $3,800 in the irregular fund. And for the first time in their marriage, they weren't fighting about money. Carlos told me, we know exactly what every dollar is for. Part 6, numbers that matter. You don't need to earn more money to make the budget work. You need clarity. There is a Cambridge study that found that financial stress is not related to how much you earn. It is related to the feeling of control over your money. People who make $150,000 a year can be more stressed than people who make $50,000 if they don't have a system. The budget is not about restriction, it's about clarity and control. When you know exactly how much money you have to spend, you can spend it without guilt. When you don't know, every purchase comes with anxiety. Part 7, how to start today. Here's exactly what you're going to do today. Action 1. Open your bank and review the last 3 months of expenses. Don't do it in your head. Open the bank and check. Action 2. Identify your fixed expenses. Write them down. Action 3. Calculate the average of your variable expenses, then add 20%. That's your range. Action 4. Open a separate account for your irregular fund if you don't have one. Most banks let you do this for free. If not, use a savings account. Action 5. Automate your savings. Let it move automatically the day you get paid. Action 6. If you have a partner, sit down together this week and review all of this, not as confrontation, as a team. And here's the thing, the first 2 months are going to be weird. You're going to be wrong. You're going to forget categories. You're going to underestimate some things. That's normal. That's expected. Don't abandon the system just because it's not perfect right away. A budget is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Closing. Look, the truth is that money is not complicated. The math is simple, but we are humans, and humans are complicated. You need a system that works with your psychology, not against it. A system that assumes you are human, that you are going to have cravings, that unforeseen things are going to happen, that some months are going to be more expensive than others. The budget I showed you today does exactly that. It's not perfect, but it works. And it works because it's designed for real life, not a theoretical spreadsheet. There's a quote I love from Morgan Housel. Doing things right with money doesn't have much to do with how smart you are. It has a lot to do with how you behave. Your behavior changes when you have the right system, so stop blaming yourself for past budgets that didn't work. It wasn't your fault, it was the system, and now you have a better one. If this video helped you, like and subscribe because I make videos like this every week about real personal finance for real people. And let me know in the comments what's your biggest challenge with budgets. I would love to know. See you in the next video.